I am in Sunshine, Florida, and doing this particular webinar that requested by many of you, and is related to research and the development tax credit and tax deduction. It's a very complex subject. A lot of people are very confused with what happened in 2022, what happened in 2023. Not a problem, and we'll tackle this one today. So let's share screen with you guys, and so we can get into it, right? What I want to show you, it is our website. Community CPA, we update our website. So it's not some kind of show, just leave it there for you and you check it, and for 1,000 years it doesn't change. It changes all the time. And we want to bring your attention to our website because we have this onboarding with us. I call that silent onboarding because you're busy, and during the day you're busy with your business, or maybe you have a side business, you're busy with your work, and you want to onboarding with Community CPA, not a problem. You can come over here to onboard with us. You can also make appointment with us anytime you want it, because you will know our calendar. And you can literally type into my time and know what time I have. If you're available on 27th, you know what time I have on my calendar that's still open for you. So you can book our time. And if you just bombarded with work to do and you just don't have time for anything, you can't even spare any time to listen to our webinars, then you can always come to YouTube channel, dig into your night, and listen to our webinars right here. We always put our webinar back on our YouTube channel so you can search. So today we were doing what? Today we plan to do R&D, right? Research and development tax credit, tax deduction. You can research R&D right here. You pull up our history talk. So just an idea and give you all kind of ways to better yourself and learn more. Because if you don't learn in business, you just cannot give your business the bust, can go long run. And you want to do a business. So your commitment other than making money is making the knowledge available to yourself and to learn. The more you learn, the more you're going to be so smart, not in your field of your business, but also understand how to implement all these knowledges the way you want it. Now, let's go for our webinar. So today's topic is to understand R&D. And there's a lot to say about R&D, but I am going to give you the very fundamental understanding so you know exactly where to research, how to do it on your own. Our job is not to confuse you so you feel like, oh, I can only go to Community CPA to get that done. No, our job is to explain to you so you have the power to get it done on your own. All right. Of course, we welcome you. If you want to be our client, we have our full arm open and we want you to come. And we will provide you good service, and that's our promise to you. But at the same time, and if you just have the time, you just have the ability to do it yourself, and listening to us and go through our webinars will get you there. All right. And just in case you don't know who we are communitycpa.com. That's our name on the street. And we have 26 years practice history. We're talking about practice history, and we're not talking about 40 people times 26. No. And this is just the length of the firm existed for 26 years and plus. And we have 40 people and speak 10 different languages. So that gives you an idea of a little United Nation, right? I felt that way. I think we are that way. And we have 4 branches currently: Iowa, Minnesota, California, and we're working on opening Houston, Texas branch. And that projected date is June 2024. We already have a location. If you log into our website and looking for location, is there. And the office building is already there. We just need to, put the sign up and then make it us, right? And we come out like a certain different ways. And if you come to our office, you recognize our office. That's just how we portraying ourselves to the public. And I served a national taxpayer advocacy panel for 3 years. This panel is a federal advisory committee, provide advisory to IRS. So it is not some sort of, drinking entertainment club. It is a working people, and we contributing to the success of IRS. And with that said, I also want to brag about just a little bit my books. I wrote Appointment with Ying at 8 a.m. and I finished in California in 2023, that book, 10 a.m. So this book is actually written in the places I'm in right now. And last year, so we finished that and we published that book in the same year. So this time I'm here, not so much of writing the book because the 2 p.m. is still in my head. I'm still structuring and making, structuring it and also collecting my own experience related to that, right? And the 2 p.m. is about expanding your business. So 8 a.m. is starting up a business and 10 a.m. is growing. The 2 p.m. expanding business beyond yourself. Like Elon Musk expanding his business beyond himself, right? So how do you do that? So we have clients who have been so successful in their business endeavor. They have already done that. We also have ourselves, community CPA, expanding the geographic footprint from Iowa to Minnesota, from Minnesota to California, from California to Texas, right? So those are experiences that I can write. It's all real experiences of small people, right? People like us. We are classified as what? Small business, right? You are a small business, I am too. And so how we expand, even though we don't have the kind of financial backing and like Elon Musk does, but we also are mini version of Elon Musk, right? We are also growing our business. So our webinar has no responsibility disclaimer as a necessity to be put out. So you take responsibility of what you learned. If you really want to use our opinion to do certain things, the idea is you come in to be engaged with us and have us provide you professional service. Although it is a paid service, ladies and gentlemen, in the professional world, paid service just means that you get the value. Sure, you can pay a penny for a value of service. You can also pay $1 million for a value of service. It's a different type of service, right? So it is all about value proposition you have for your own business endeavor. So how you value your own business. So let's talk about R&D. So the first slide I have here is R&D tax credit and tax deduction. Ladies and gentlemen, they're not the same thing. Before 2022, they were kind of same thing. Why do I say that? Because you got tax deduction, you also got tax credit. So that is changing. That actually changed in 2022. I am talking about January the 1st, 2022. Then things happened in 2023 again. So let's just kind of give you the concept. It's really, really important because you don't want to just stop at R&D. You want to ask, is R&D tax credit or is R&D tax deduction? If they are related, but they're not the same. Okay, the federal research and development tax credit results in dollar for dollar reduction in a company's tax liability, in a company's income tax liability or payroll tax liability. You hear that? That's why the definition is company tax liability. They didn't say whether it's a payroll tax liability or income tax liability. Okay, for certain domestic expenses, what are these? Certain domestic expenses are the R&D expenses. Qualifying expense, generally including design, develop, and the improvement of product process techniques, formulas, or softwares. You can leave that part out of your brain for right now because we can look at what is qualifying for you specifically. But hear me out loud. You are talking about the tax credit directly offsetting your taxes liability, but you're also talking about tax expenses like your utility, like your advertising. So the qualifying expenses that related to this R&D that can be deducted from your income in year of the current year. So that is the deduction, right? So you spend money for hiring contractor scientists to do the work. You spend money on the material, try things out, making protocols, right? Understandable, understandable. All of these money is expense for you before 2022. They are research expense. So you expense that out of your income already. You paid less taxes, right? Less income tax. But you also, on top of that, claim tax credit. So that tax credit claim didn't really change. It is the same. So that credit will offset your tax liability. So it's like a double benefit. Am I right? In the sense, right? So what is tax credit? You understand tax credit offset your tax liability. Whether that's a payroll tax liability or your income tax liability, let's save it for the later, but just say tax credit offsetting your tax liability. And R&D tax credit is not refundable. What does that mean? That means if you didn't have a tax liability, you're not going to get a refund check. You have to have tax liability to offset your R&D tax credit. And so how does that work? What if I don't have it? What if I don't have tax liability? What's going to happen to it? No problem. If you don't have it, it keeps there for you, offsetting your future tax liability for 20 years going after. So this is where your tax credit coming in, it just saved there for you, right? And of course, what is tax deduction? Tax deduction are those expenses you add together, say $1 million, and you reverse your income. You made $2 million income, but you have $1 million R&D expenses you deducted, so your net profit, taxable profit amount is only $1 million. And if this $1 million you pay taxes, you got, say, $210,000 tax due that you need to pay. And then your R&D credit comes in, will reverse that $210,000 income tax that you are paying. With that kind of give you an idea. The R&D tax deduction and the R&D tax credit are two separate things, right? All right, now you arrived in the spot I want you to arrive right now, so you know it's different. Now, what about 2022? So 2022 had done something really significant. And some folks was telling me that, well, it's just all because of President Biden. And this thing comes through. Actually, let me clear that name for President Biden for once. That's not because of him. That was President Trump's act, Job Act. The Job Act says, by the end of 2021, we're going to change how this R&D tax deduction going to be. You no longer can deduct it, and you have to amortize it. That means you have $1 million deduction. You have to divide that by 5. You can only deduct 200,000 in 1 year going for 5 years. That is from the Job Act, ladies and gentlemen. That is arranged to happen in the year of 2022. Is not a new thing. It is a planned thing, okay, by the Congress, the law. So now we knew it is coming, but people don't talk about it because we're so trenched into the pandemic in and out. There's so much tax things related to pandemic. Even community CPA, we didn't focus on R&D during 2020, 2021, 2022, and we're still dealing with credits that are related to pandemic. But now, pandemic is dying down, right? So we're getting to be normal. And the R&D, developing business, growth mindset that our business owners have, and there's more questions related to this. So we talk about it. And that's why you see our webinars start coming up. And if you research R&D, it's right there. We talk about it. All right. So before 2022, ladies and gentlemen, before 2022, the R&D expenses are deducted in the current tax year. All right. Then R&D tax credit is additional benefit for you. We're talking about cutoff. on December 31st, 2021. So before 2022, the expenses deducted in the current year. And just like what I wrote here, you can always go back to my webinar, look at what I wrote there, but it's not important. Sometimes because I'm in such a hurry to do it, and I even have, spelling mistakes in there, whatever. But you know what I mean, right? So R&D tax credit is additional benefit. The R&D tax credit sometimes referred to as this research and experimentation tax credit is additional benefit on top of the tax expense. And the qualification to R&D tax credit is stricter than the expense deduction. Why do I say that? Because in the forms that I will show you, you will know that they give you a category of what can you deduct. So that doesn't necessarily equal. You may have R&D expenses, but that doesn't equals to the R&D tax credit claim that you used for the expense. All right. So with that said, and you know that, okay, I can do R&D tax credit claim, and I want to point to you that the form you are going to use. Remember, I said that R&D tax credit claim did not change. They did not change. They are the same from the time, actually this one is, I forgot the years. I don't remember the year R&D started, long time ago. Not long time ago, but within the 10 years time. And then when they started, it's always the same. So the credit claim is the same. I want to show you the form. The form 6765 is actually the form they use. And the form has never really made a big change. There was some changes on the section D related to payroll side, which I will touch on that one as well. The primary purpose for this form is to help business owner to calculate and claim the credit. Okay, so it is not to help you to do the tax deduction, right? You do that on your business tax filing. You deduct it. But this form is part of that filing, and then you're going to calculate the credit. It is also allows the business owner to decide how the credit should be used. Are you going to offset your payroll tax? Or you're going to offset your federal income tax? Or maybe you carry that over to future years, right? So that forms give you the structure of how you're going to deal with your credit. So on the section A and B, the form has 4 sections, A, B, C, D. A and B is actually a mathematical calculation. The A and B just provide 2 methods, and I'll show you the 2 methods. So these are the method, regular credit method, alternative simplified credit method. That alternative simplified, involves 3 years prior. So you use 14%, but your regular one is the 1 year and it's a 20%. So the A and B just kind of give you the guidance on how to calculate with different methods. And the C is where that you will calculate the current year credit, like current year based on what you filed on your form, first page and the second page. The C directs you to other forms and schedules where you will need to report your estimated credit for the current year. So for example, if you ended up saying that, well, you didn't pay taxes, let's say, you have a loss, then your current year, this credit has to be filed differently. So you may carry that forward, or you may use payroll tax credit, right? So those are the decisions you're gonna make. You're gonna define your C for the current. The D is payroll tax offset. This is where you make election to say that, okay, my credit not gonna offset my income tax, it's gonna offset my payroll tax. So I want to mention to you that whole payroll thing is a whole separate subject. And we are going to have a webinar just for that. So that way you are clear. And you file 6765 for the credit, but the section D is literally an election for the payroll tax credit. So with that say, and I already showed you this slide, this is the basic 2 method. And this is the form, ladies and gentlemen, 6765. Right? And you can see the section A, section B, those are just ways to teach you how to calculate. And I have a very detailed calculation. I would call it pretty good example to show you how that works. And so this is the seminar I already do. Understand R&D tax credit calculation. This is like, I did this 11 months ago, so it's after Inflation Act come out. So R&D calculation made changes, and for the tax deduction piece. So in here, I explain that. So I want to show you how you search my videos on Community CPA channel, and you saw the look of the logo, the thumbnail. And then see, I have this, what you call understanding the research and development tax credit. That's just what I did and at that time, and it's still valid. So you can actually search for that and understand how to calculate. And that was changed in 2022, and the calculation credit is still the same, but the deduction piece no longer come out of your first page 100%, can only be what? 20%. So let's say, like the early example, you made a $2 million gross sales, and you spend $1 million on research and development. And that $1 million, if it is 2021, 2020, or 2019, and you would just simply use 2 million minus 1 million, and so you have a taxable income of 1 million, because you can deduct the whole thing. But your taxable income 1 million also can offset the taxes you're gonna pay, also can offset your tax credit. So that's how the game goes. But after 2022, your $2 million come out as a total sales, and your $1 million research R&D expense can only be deducted 200,000. So you suddenly have $1.8 million taxable income to calculate. You understand? So you pay more income tax. But of course, the credit is still the same. So you will reverse your credit out of the $1.8 million taxable income. And so that's what you're going to get into. So you ended up still paying less taxes, but your R&D become a depreciable asset, went into your balance sheet. They are not deducting anymore. So there, I posed a question. Maybe it is not so advantageous to really have the R&D expenses that way on your balance sheet. Maybe some of those R&D really belongs to your regular operating expense, right? I'm questioning you because I want to know whether the 5-year depreciation is really that advantage to you in general, right? What was changed in 2022? That is what I'm talking about. This whole thing I was writing, and to you, it's the same, what I was just saying to you, that is changed in 2022. You no longer can deduct R&D expenses 100% in the current year. You are told to depreciate that. You say that, oh, Ying, I don't want tax credit then. I don't want it. I'm not gonna go for 5 years. No, as long as it's R&D activities, you have to go with the new depreciation method. Even if you don't claim R&D credit, that's your problem, but your depreciation don't change. You still have to depreciate that. So just be really consistent and careful to know what is your R&D. All right, so what also changed in 2023? This is something that I want to make sure you understand. Yes, we have that tax deduction change in 2022, but we also have the changes in 2023. So what is the changes for 2023, ladies and gentlemen? In 2023, the Inflation Act, that's a President Biden's change. So the Inflation Act actually did an expansion on payroll tax credit. What happened is they give $500,000 total per year for you to offset your R&D tax credit, but that 500,000 is on your payroll 941. So what they're saying is $500,000 can come out of the employer section of the Social Security Medicare. The other $500,000 can come out of the Medicare. So of course we're talking about the employer portion of the payroll tax, okay? and it says that it's a 500,000. So I posted the form 6765 section D here for you, because this is the section you must fill up when you decide, okay, I have a loss on my first page. I don't have any income. I have a loss. I don't care about the 5-year depreciation, because even if I take 1/5 of my expense, I'm still a big loser. I lost that year. But I paid a lot of people, so I want payroll credit. So with that said, you need to do election right here. Once you did the election right here, then you have a chance to also file a form called 8974. So this is next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, 3 p.m., I will talk about R&D again, but I will talk about R&D payroll tax credit election in 2023. We are concluding 2023, folks. It is so timely we do that, because when you finish your corporation tax in 2023 by March 15th, you need to know whether you make that election or not. If you don't do that, you miss it, okay? But if you have a chance to claim your payroll credit, you can only do that for the first quarter in 2024. That is coming up, right? So make sure that you understand the timing. So I'll be there on Tuesday and walk you through the details. But what I want to tell you is that this R&D payroll tax credit election in 2023 is done with your 2023 tax return. Once you did that, you will file 8974. That form is called Qualified Small Business Payroll Tax Credit for R&D. You have to be a qualified small business. I will give you the definition. I will tell you whether you are the qualified one or not on Tuesday, but I want to make sure that you understand. And it's not just the 6765. You also need to file 8974 to claim that payroll credit. It is important to note that the credit only can be claimed on business employment tax return. What does that mean? That means it's 941, ladies and gentlemen, for the first quarter that commenced after it's filed the income tax return reflecting the payroll election. So you're going to file the business tax return for 2023, and you're going to do that in the quarter 1 of 2024. And that credit has been extended from 250,000 to 500,000. So with that said, so let's look back to see what we talked about this whole time, right? And what we are talking about right now is R&D, tax credit, tax deduction. We know that before 2022, and your tax deduction can come out the current year 100%, you still have the credit. So you can double dipping on that particular item, a particular benefit, right? After 2022, you still have your R&D tax credit. Not a problem, no change. But the only changes is that your tax deduction is no longer for the current year. It is for the next 5 years. So you're going to divide your R&D expenses into five pieces. So each piece you come out. So that means you increase your taxable income. You pay more taxes, you got your tax credit. And with that change, so that was really a change. Remember, that was Job Act. That was President Trump did that. And he said that in 2022, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to start, depreciate your R&D expense. However, and so that coming as we expected, but however, in August of 2022, President Biden expanded that R&D deduction on the payroll. So he's saying that, okay, it used to be 250,000 before 2023. So if you are doing R&D for 2022, you have 250,000 for the payroll side of refund. But if you do it after 2022, starting from 2023, it increased to 500,000. So here, the last slide I show you right here shows you that you're going to do election for your form 6765. Then you're going to file 8974 and with your 941 to get that money back. Okay, but you need to make that election on your tax return. Otherwise, the IRS don't know what you're doing with the credit. IRS really trust that all of us knows exactly how to do the form, and all of us knows how we can apply. And even though the rules are so complex, but they expect the business owners to know that. So I expect you to learn it and do it right. All right. So with that said, this is our R&D, ladies and gentlemen. And I think I clarified something really important for you. If you ever got confused with R&D, you don't know what they're talking about depreciation, you don't know what they're talking about Form 6765, now you know. 6765, just the way it is, okay? But the tax deduction changed, from 2021 to 2022, drastic change. And then in 2023, changed again because President Biden expanded the amount, double the amount on the payroll side of collection, on the payroll side of credit. All right. And I don't want to forget to brag about our partners. This is on our website, right? When you go in and you book our time to talk to you, and here are all our partners. And, for me, I'm there. And if you click my time, and I didn't offer free sessions for you, but my rest of my partners, Dr. Howe didn't have any. And the rest of our partners, and like Dan, Kim, Sang Mo, and Kwan Chumjuwat. Hey, if you know how to say Crown's last name, and you're pretty good with South Asian, Thailand kind of last name. It took me several years, okay, to say it really professionally, Chumjuwat. And Derek saw, and these partners, they have 30 minutes free sessions for you. If you click in, and hey, ladies and gentlemen, only once, okay? We have people who are repetitively going through all our partners with 30 minutes everywhere. So we like your consciousness in terms of saving money, but you have a lot of money you can save when you understand what IRS is doing. So you can, respect our partners' time and knows that we're here to help you. And if you engage us, we help you, and not a problem at all. And with this last slide I have is our webinar, right? It's our YouTube channel. And you can email Catherine at communitycpa.com. She always will tell us what you are thinking, because our people don't hesitate to tell us that, hey, Ying, hey, Catherine, you need to talk about this. So we actually do listen to you and come online to give you the knowledge you needed. That's why our channel is so alive. People are reading our channel. We get clients to approach us. I wouldn't say every day, but every week, clients are coming to our firm because of the YouTube channel information we give out. So with that, and I also want to remind you, we are the only CPA firm I know in the country. Seriously, I did search on internet to make sure I can claim it. I can claim it because our firm, for the past 27 years, 26 years, we always open 6 days a week, all year long. We do not have this tax season hours. We are always on tax season hours. We are 8 hours a day and 6 days a week. So I hope you recognize, oh yes, you guys working on Saturday. Some of our business people are so busy. Really, the only time they have is on Saturday. I will tell you this. Saturday is also my time. Saturday is the time I try to catch up on everything, and I try to prepare the webinars for you, and I try to get a lot of learning done myself as well. So Saturday is the time we grow, and by contacting us on Saturday, give yourself a chance to grow. What's wrong with that? So I hope you successfully operate your business, and I hope you smartly and utilize all the credit and all the government allowed deductions into your business. Let that happen to your business and grow smartly, grow that in the American way, right? That's what I always say. Americanization is not about just speaking English. It's about understanding the rules and regulation of the government and running it properly and smartly and successfully for you and for your family and for your next generation. So I'll talk to you soon, and good to see you on Saturday, 3 p.m. Bye-bye.